Hey y'all, it's Sharla from the Heartfelt Homestead. I'm back here with you today on the Creative Retreat Kids YouTube channel, finishing up this month's release, Heartfelt. I absolutely have enjoyed digging in time and time again and studying and pulling wonderful little lessons from this devotional and these scripture verses. I shared earlier in the month the scripture writing spread that I did. Let me grab that. Finished it out, going through and writing out all of the verses, pulling out little pieces here and there in the study. And then I also did an extra little piece this month because I love the verse mapping that Danielle shares over on her Creative Retreat Kids Instagram. And I wanted to pull out some of those notes and add some extra little thoughts here. So I used the digitals this month, the Faithfilled digitals, and expanded those journaling cards to create me some jumbo journaling cards. And this will go in my word study box. I did a little reel putting this card together, just using some of the pieces from the kit and the digitals. I've got that uploaded into my channel as a little short, so I'll link that in the notes below. And then today I want to kind of continue with those notes and those thoughts and put some pieces together to go into my Vintage Reflections journal. My thoughts are to create a little vintage wallpaper look in the background and then layer some more of these pieces on top. This is our focus verse: for I desired mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. I've learned so much digging into this verse and looking across the different passages that were shared in the devotional, and just connecting back to this over and over and over, and listening to God speak to my heart over and over. And just really, you know, the more you study, the little bit more clarity that you can get with just moving out the distractions and the clutter and just getting down to His Word and what He's teaching us from it. So I really have enjoyed this study. This is simply a copy of the back of our folder, the devotional folder. I'm going to incorporate that a little bit here as well. You could also have created a card from making a copy of the back of this pattern paper too. I've done that before and really enjoy using these pattern pieces over and over. All right, let's get started on this page and see how it goes. Okay, here we go to fast forward mode for a few minutes. I have cut a piece of my parchment-like paper to the size of my journal in width and in height. I am going to leave it as one large spread as I'm creating on it, and then cut it in half to glue it in toward the end of creating this entry. I'm using these beautiful sketchy floral pieces from the kit stamp set to create a pattern for my background. Now, my initial thought when I went in to work on my entry today, I visualized more color in the background. Like I was going to put down the sketchy floral, then go back and add some of those just kind of loose color blocks or color pieces behind that. And that's really what I had in my mind. And then once I got that sketchy floral down, I loved the simplicity of it behind the bold pattern paper with all of those colors popping out. So I did skip that step, and I love the way that it does turn out, and love this stamp. So I'm going to be keeping it out from this kit and using it again and again. I'm using the Creative Retreat Kit Pigment Ink in Plum Baroque. Love this beautiful color. I'm scattering these two different floral designs randomly on this paper and using both first and second stamping just to give me a little variation in the color that is transferred onto the paper. I then do take a small 1-inch cube of a Tim Holtz Vintage Photo Distress Ink, and I'm lightly dragging it vertically on my page, just up and down from top and bottom, hitting the edge so that it'll be a little bit darker around the edges. But I want it to give me kind of a slight drag marks, like aged and worn wallpaper, like things, you know, things have rubbed up and down across it, or light has hit it over years and it just starts to kind of turn colors and change because of age. So I just wanted to give it that kind of effect. I'm using also the Tim Holtz paper distressing tool to rough up the edges of my paper all around, and then I'm going to go back and I touch those with a soft makeup brush and the same vintage photo ink just to keep it cohesive, but also gives me a little texture and dimension where all of that, where that sharp edge of that tool has roughed up the edges of the paper. I then repeat this same process on my pattern paper piece and my journaling card. My goal with today's entry is really to just create a simple entry that coordinates with the kit while I reflect on the lesson and my takeaways from the lesson. All right, now after getting my elements all glued into place, I took it over to my paper cutter and cut it exactly in half before placing it into my altered book. I did use the Barely Arts glue for these steps because I find it to be holding my entries in place in this book better than some of the ones where I had used a tape runner. I had to go back and do a little repair work on some of my previous pages. I do record some notes and answers to my reflection questions and then tuck those into a pocket that I created between the pages of the book. And then this entry is complete. I really do enjoy these creative studies from Creative Retreat Kits and always look forward to what Danielle has planned for us next month. I encourage you to join us in our devotional studies and also watch the other kit videos from the team members. I do always enjoy listening to what they share as well. I'll place links and notes below. Please like this video. If you enjoy it, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the Creative Retreat Kit channel if you don't already do so. Y'all have a blessed day.